This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Thank you for joining us in the program held to Living on ITV. I am Adisuwa Osawage. So sometimes when your stomach is having a party, like a bit of a wide party, and a lot of things are going on in your stomach, and sometimes you'll be wondering what's really happening. Why are all the ones having a party? What is happening to me? You may not know. So today we want to talk about peptic ulcer disease. And we have Dr. Jolly Nosa Igoma, who is going to be talking to us about that little party that always happens in your stomach, that one that you neglect, where to go to, how to go about it, and how to know if you are suffering from peptic ulcer disease. Dr. Nosa Jolly Igoma, a pleasure to have you join us today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. And it's like we're meeting for the first time this year.
Yes, yes. That's
awesome. Thank you for joining us. So, doctor, quickly, talk to us about peptic ulcer disease. What is it? What are the causes, the symptoms, and of course, maybe possible treatment and prevention? Let's do all of that.
Yes. Peptic ulcer disease is the commonest disease condition that we have in gastroenterology. What I'm saying is that the field of medicine that is concerned about the disease that affects the intestine, that has to do with the abdomen, has to do with gastroenterology. So that is to say that patients will always come down with pain in the abdomen. And there are different organs in the abdomen. And those organs play a different role. For as much as we humans, we eat to survive, it therefore means that there are organs that are concerned about digestion.
Okay.
And one of those prominent organs that is concerned for digestion is the stomach. The stomach also produces an acid, what refers to as the hydrochloric acid. Any food that you eat that goes to the mouth, masticates, the tooth process, it goes to the esophagus, which is the gullet. From there, it goes to the stomach. The stomach produces an acid, and the essence of this acid is to help to detoxify and, tend to destroy every microorganism that will have been in the food that we have ingested or eaten. But you get to understand that this acid, as well as the pepsin, can also act as an agent that will eat up those organs.
Okay.
So, for example, when the hydrochloric acid that is produced by the stomach, when it begins to destroy the stomach wall itself, somebody can begin to have a sore.
So why does it destroy the lining of the stomach?
There are factors that are responsible for this. Of course, the word peptic ulcer means that we can have sore in the esophagus, we can have sore in the stomach, we can have sore in the duodenum. That is to say that we have three types of ulcers. We have three types of peptic ulcers. It can be esophagus, that is the gullet. It can be the stomach itself. It can also be the first part of the small intestine, which is the duodenum. You see, there are some risk factors that will make somebody to be prone to developing this destruction of the lining of the mucosa, which covers, the stomach wall and the duodenum, to prevent acid from destroying them. Normally, there are defense mechanisms. It's supposed to be protected against self-destruction. But when somebody has an exposure to an organism refers to as Helicobacter pylori,
and what is
the
that
commonest cause of ulcer worldwide is a bacterial infection.
Okay.
That we
It's not the ingestion of too much pepper. Because that's what people
that's
say.
what people believe. But I will tell you that when you ingest pepper because of the spiciness of those pepper, you must have an ulcer. I would say that the pepper itself is an aggravating or a triggering factor. So the commonest cause of ulcer is presence of bacteria,
and so
which you can actually...
Not fasting, not starving yourself of food.
Not at all. It's just one of it anyway, but it doesn't come first. But somebody that has an ulcer and is not, undergoing prolonged fasting, it tends to exacerbate it. It tends to bring about relapse or remission in any way, because the ulcer itself is a chronic disease condition that lasts a decade, even sometimes a lifetime. For as much as once you are diagnosed of ulcer, yes. even when we know that the incriminating factor is a Helicobacter pylori, even after the elimination therapy, when the causative agent has been removed, there are do's and don'ts. There are some certain food you have to abstain from to avoid this relapse of this ulcer. So the Helicobacter pylori is the commonest cause of this ulcer, which is capable of causing destruction to the lining of the mucosa of the stomach, as well as the duodenum. How do we get this Helicobacter pylori? We can get it through fecal-oral route, as in maybe coming in contact with stool of somebody who has Helicobacter pylori. Using toothbrush used by somebody that has Helicobacter pylori. Vomiting, coming in contact with vomiting. Because it dwells in the stomach. That is where the bacteria dwells. Lives. And what this bacteria causes is to cause destruction of the lining of the stomach. Not only that, apart from the Helicobacter pylori, we also have people that abuse pain medication. You see, pain is the commonest symptom. Some person come down with tooth pain, they come down with rheumatoid arthritis, they come down with headache, they come down with all kinds of pain. And when you take pain without doctor prescription,
that's why you take painkillers.
You take painkillers, exactly. When it's actually a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory.
And that's one of those drugs that people abuse.
Yes, it's the commonest drug of abuse. I will tell you that the possible disadvantage or complication, the NSAID, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, those painkillers will cause for you is the ulcer. So those NSAID can also cause destruction to the lining of the mucosas of those stomach or the duodenum I told you about. Not only that, apart from those NSAIDs, we also have people that take alcohol. Excessive alcohol abuse can also cause destruction. Not only that, people that smoke. You see that the cigarette that people smoke, the cigarette contains a carcinogenic substance, the benzoyl-heparin. And when the benzoyl-heparin is digested, because of the metabolite it forms, like the benzoyl-heparin 7-hydroxydithionate, it tends to, cause destruction to the lining of the stomach, thereby causing patients to be prone to developing peptic ulcer.
Okay.
Not only that, there are some disease conditions when you are in stress during deprivation, during stress, during, passing through acute difficulties, you can begin to have stress ulcer. Okay,
doctor, I'm going to pause you there. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, you have opportunity to ask Dr. Jolly questions that borders on this topic we're talking about today, peptic ulcer. If you have any question at all to call Dr. Jolly, we'll put the number on air so that you can call us. We'll take a short break now. Thank you so much for joining us again on the program Health to Living. If you check your screen now, the phone number is there. Please copy it and give us a call so that you can ask Dr. Jolly any question you want to ask on peptic ulcer. A lot of persons, at least today, will know that peptic ulcer is not caused by fasting or starving yourself and all of that. There is something already in your system that causes it. And if you come in contact with all that Dr. Jolly have said to us this afternoon, so give us a call on that number on your screen right away, and you'll be able to talk to Dr. Jolly Nosai Guma. So Dr. Jolly, let's look at the symptoms of peptic ulcer disease. How will somebody know that he or she has peptic ulcer?
Yes, the commonest symptom of peptic ulcer is pain in the epigastrium. The person will have pain between the breast or sometimes in the upper part of the chest region. And this pain is a burning pain that can even wake patients up at night.
Okay.
Or that comes up very early hour of the day, that is very early in the morning. The pain, very excruciating. Apart from pain, patient can also have indigestion. Patient can have nausea and vomiting. They can have loss of appetite for food. And patient can also experience bleeding, usually when there is a complication, what we call hemorrhagic peptic ulcer. Not only that, there might be food refusal or the tendency to now begin to eat, little foods. That is when there are complications. Not only that, patients can also experience weight loss or can also experience what we call anemia, usually when the symptom is asymptomatic, other than patient just going for medical assessment and we now find out that the PCV has reduced, not knowing that there have been passage of blood through the stool.
Is it self-diagnosed or you have to go to the hospital to find out? Yes,
just like as I said earlier on, the commonest symptom of this ulcer is pain, which is usually felt at between the breast, but not ulcer will manifest symptoms. Some ulcers is just asymptomatic until the complications start coming, like a patient that is bleeding, that is experiencing hemorrhagic peptic ulcer, is bleeding, in the having upper GIT bleeding. So such patients, when there's stool, there's usually passage of melanal stool, what we call dark stool. So that patient might begin to have weakness over time because of the excessive loss of blood, via the stool. And when a laboratory investigation is not conducted, we'll now find out that the PCV has reduced. So in trying to evaluate the cause of the PCV, we now know that, this patient has an ulcer after doing other laboratory test or investigation.
All right, the number to call is 0807777, that's 470300. Call in to ask Dr. Chole questions about peptic ulcer. Perhaps you're suffering from it, or somebody who is suffering from all of the symptoms that he has mentioned. Okay, Dr. Chole, is it a preventable disease, curable disease, treatable disease? Let us know.
Yes, ulcer is a preventable disease, but it's a worldwide disease, and persons with blood group A, with research, are most likely to suffer the gastric ulcer.
Okay, blood group A.
Blood group A, yes. People
not genotype now, yes, so don't mistake it. Genotype is different from blood group.
Blood group A.
Positive or negative?
Either positive or negative. As far as you are blood group A, you are most likely going to suffer the gastric ulcer. Whereas those that are blood group O, they will have what we call the duodenal ulcer. Not only that, for people that are older, maybe from the age of 45 to 60, 45 and above, they come down more with, duodenal ulcer. Whereas the gastric ulcer, people that are younger, 20s, 30s, as the case may be. But in overall, I will tell you that in preventing the peptic ulcer, other than those predisposing,
factors that you mentioned already. Yeah.
When you are avoiding smoking, automatically you are preventing ulcer for yourself. And when you also mind the kind of drugs that you take, that will iatrogenically result to the destruction of the lining of the stomach.
Well, you just talk about painkillers being a factor. What about prescription drugs?
Yes. When you take prescription, when pain is actually a symptom of many disease conditions. When you begin to treat pain, you are not using pain. That is more of a symptomatic treatment. When the cause of the pain is treated, you might not even need to live on painkiller.
Painkillers.
So a good doctor should be able to tell you the need of curing the cause of the pain. than taking painkiller for a long time that will now, result to the destruction of the lining of the stomach, thereby causing the peptic ulcer disease. Not only that, when you avoid excessive intake of alcohol, you're also preventing, peptic ulcer. Then the use of spicy food, excessive salt intake, fried foods. When you take food in moderation, of course, you're also preventing the peptic ulcer disease.
Okay. Let's look at treatment. How is treatment like?
Yes, the treatment of peptic ulcer is after a laboratory investigation has been done. Okay. As I said earlier on, the commonest cause of peptic ulcer is Helicobacter pylori. So when we do the urea breath test, it's a test that is conducted where the presence of Helicobacter pylori is not detected in the carbon label urea breath test. Of course, we cannot do what we call the elimination therapy by trying to kill or destroy this bacterial organism from the stomach. Not only that, we can also evaluate the presence, because not actually all symptoms that patient presents, not all abdominal pain.
All right, Dr. Gordon, I think we have a call now. Hello, caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, please tell us your name and ask your question.
My name is Victor. I'm calling from Benin.
Okay, go ahead with your question, Victor.
It's not concerning there's something I want to confirm, ma'am.
Okay.
My wife, before she had a nursing flow, she was really busy. So I thought it was pregnancy, so I bought breastfeed and it showed she was pregnant. But she's still seeing her menses and she's feeling pains.
Okay, your wife is pregnant, she's still in her period, and she's having pains. How old is the pregnancy?
Just like 3 weeks now.
3 months?
3 weeks.
3 weeks pregnancy, doctor.
Okay, might just be an implantation bleeding.
Okay.
Well, it's possible for somebody to bleed physiologically when the blastocyst or the embryo is trying to implant to the endometrium of the uterus. Your wife can just experience small bleeding at that particular point in time. But it's not a thing that you have to overlook. An ultrasound scan will have to be done to see if it's a placenta problem. Because when the placenta is at the lower segment of the uterus, so that might also, what we call placenta previa, that might also be the cause of the bleeding. Okay. So I would advise you to go and do an ultrasound scan. But notwithstanding, if an ultrasound scan is conducted and the embryo is in a good state, it therefore means that it's a physiological bleeding, what we call the plantation bleeding.
Okay, thank you for calling. So, doctor, let's continue with our treatment.
Yes, the most important thing is for us to know the incriminating cause of this ulcer. And I will tell you that if other test is conducted, like the gastroscopy or the gastroduodenoscopy, we will be able to know if actually the pain.
Hello, caller. Can you reduce the audio level in the television set and ask question? Who are we speaking with? Hello? Okay, doctor, just go on. I'm sure.
So we have to know exactly if the cause of the pain is as a result of peptic ulcer, because other pains might also mimic the peptic ulcer. Okay. It could be pancreatitis. It could be, a gallbladder disease. So these are the things that we have to roll out before we now say, okay, we have to treat this ulcer. The reason why laboratory investigation, we cannot use the symptom alone to treat the patient. There are other tests that have to be carried out. And not only that, surgery might also be an option, especially when there are complications. I will tell you that patients who have had just a normal peptic ulcer in the past, but with complication of perforation means that with time, there is now a white tear in the lining of the stomach or the duodenum, as the case may be.
Okay, we have a call. Hello, caller. Hello. Okay, I think the caller left. All right, doctor, what's the way forward now as we round up?
Yes. You see that in treatment of the peptic ulcer, there are medical treatments, there are surgical treatments. But the surgical treatment, most often than not, is when the medical treatment fails. When I say medical treatment, it involves the use of medication without surgical intervention. So when we plan patient for surgical intervention, it means that the medical treatment is not working. And in that case, we can even bypass the stomach if there is, a sore. You know, when we say ulcer, ulcer means sore. Just like the way somebody can have a sore in their lower leg or their leg, as the case may be. So the sore in your stomach is what we call the ulcer. So we can bypass the sore, or we can even do what we call a partial gastrectomy by cutting off that sore, doing a repair, what we call Barrett's type 1 or Barrett type 2, depending on the bypass we want to do.
Okay, Dr. Jolly, our time is up. I want to say thank you so much for finding time to be with us on the program. And we hope to do this again. You know, a lot of persons now know that ulcer can be very dangerous and it can be very deadly if you do not take action on time. So thank you, doctor, for your time. We'll see you again next week on the program, Healthy Living. Bye-bye.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
It is my delight to have you on the program News Review this lovely Sunday again. And my name is Deborah Iviogba from thanking you so much for joining us on the program. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu John Wikon Diary Review called on the World Bank to deepen the partnership with Nigeria by accelerating financing, streamlined processes, risk management, knowledge transfer, and capacity building to fast-track inclusive growth and prosperity. President Tinubu made the call at the State House Abuja while receiving a high-power World Bank delegation.
The World Bank's delegation was led to the presidential villa by its Managing Director of Operations, Anna Bayade. Addressing his guests, President Tinubu says his administration was firmly committed to sustaining its economic reforms and would not reverse course despite the initial pains of adjustment. He described Nigeria as the heart of the African continent, stressing that the scale of the country's population and resources made reform not just desirable but inevitable. The president stressed that while the subsidy removal and the unification of exchange rate initially triggered inflation, it has since reduced significantly and the naira has stabilized, improving investor confidence and ease of doing business. President Tinubu stated that the reforms being implemented are anchored on transparency, accountability, and stable policies.
I give you the assurance that, well, since we gone into this tunnel of reform, we have our hands on the plow and we're never going to look back. It is very clear that initially it was painful, difficult, but those who win are not those who give up along the way in a difficult time.
The president highlighted agricultural transformation as a priority of his administration. In her remark, Bayada commended the Nigerian government for what she described as steady discipline and courageous reform leadership over the past 2 years. She says Nigeria had become a frequent reference point in her discussions with presidents, policymakers, and investors around the world. Earlier, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edum, described the engagement as a reflection of the shared commitment to deepening a partnership that had evolved into collaborative agenda for structural transformation and sustainable growth. From the Aso Rock Presidential Villa, Abuja, Amikaro Atta, ITV News.
Still on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reported on Wikon Diary Review that the president pledged a stronger development partnership with Taraba State following the former entry of Governor Abu Kefas as his supporter into the All Progressives Congress. He stated this during Wikon Diary Review during a reception to formally receive Governor Kefas to the APC in Jalingo, Taraba State.
President Bola Tinubu was represented at Thursday's unveiling of the Nigerian National Halal Economic Strategy at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, by his Deputy Vice President Kashim Shettima. Speaking, he called for discipline, inclusive and measurable action for the strategy to deliver jobs and shared prosperity across the country. The Vice President outlined what he described as clear and measurable ambition set by strategy as he allays concerned by those linking the halal with religious affiliation. He pointed out that global halal economy had since outgrown parochial interpretation. The vice president noted further that many advanced Western economies have since recognized the commercial and ethical appeal of the halal economy and have integrated it into their export and quality assurance system.
The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is unequivocally committed to repositioning the Nigerian economy. But the task ahead us as far as the halal economy is simple. Is to ensure alignment between policy and practice, between ambition and delivery. Government will play its coordinating role. The private sector must bring innovation and investment. Our development partners will find in Nigeria a serious and prepared counterpart. Because Nigeria must be an economy defined not only by volume, but by value, not only by growth, but by trust.
Speaking on the unveiling, chairperson of the National Halal Strategy Committee and Minister of Trades, Industry and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Odowole, stressed that what the halal strategy has done for Nigeria is to position it among countries that export halal certified goods across the world. She assured that as chairperson, her ministry would deliver on the objective of the strategy for the prosperity of Nigeria. From the Aso Rock Presidential Villa, Abuja, Amikaro Atta, ITV News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, during week-end review, seek the support of the media to advocate for the timely passage of the Electoral Acts Amendment Bill before the National Assembly. The chairman of the commission, Professor Amopitan SAN, made the appeal on Wednesday last week during the quarterly interactive session with media executives at INEC headquarters in Abuja. The INEC chairman also urged the media to intensify public sensitization, especially encouraging residents of the Federal Capital Territory to collect their permanent voter cards ahead of the forthcoming area council elections.
The engagement marks the first in INEC's regular quarterly meeting with key stakeholders in 2026. Earlier sessions was with the civil society organization, followed by the meeting with media executive. The hall was filled with top media professionals, including the general manager of ITV and radio, Stephen Ojo. Speaking at the session, Professor Joash Amikwiton, SAN, expresses concern over delays in passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, describing it as critical to the success of the 2027 general elections. He appeals to the media to partner with the Commission in advocating for the bill's timely passage and in mobilizing eligible voters in the FCT to collect their PVCs ahead of the area council polls.
While the National Assembly is working currently on the amendments to the Electoral Act, the Commission has made its submission as required that the timetable and schedule of activities for 2027 general election has been finalized by the Commission. Having said that, we seek your support in urging the National Assembly to expedite action on the ongoing amendment of the Electoral Act.
Responding on behalf of the media executive, the president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Yahaya Hassan, urges INEC to prioritize the training of journalists ahead of the 2027 general elections to enhance accurate and responsible electoral reporting.
To prioritize issues of training, new members can be acquainted with the new Electoral Act so that we can be strong advocates for a better election processes and election in Nigeria.
The Commission also hinted plans to review the voter register so as to remove the names of those that are deceased. From Abuja, Joseph Kadri, ITV News.
About Edo State reported during a week-end review that the governor of the state, Monday Okpebholo, charged leaders of the state, civil and public service to embrace discipline, teamwork, and measurable results, declaring that his administration is driven strictly by performance and accountability. The governor stated this during the opening of a 3-day orientation and strategic leadership retreat for top government functionaries, special advisors, permanent secretaries, and head of MDAs held at Udomi Town Hall in Eastern Central local government area of the state.
The retreat, themed High-Performing Public Service for Sustainable Development of Edo State, was declared open by Governor Monday Okpebholo. According to the governor, the retreat, the first of its kind since the inception of his administration, is aimed at strengthening governance and repositioning the state for effective service delivery. He said the initiative will also enhance collaboration across ministries, departments and agencies while deepening participants' understanding of governance processes. Governor Okpebholo warned political appointees against using public office for personal enrichment, stressing that service to the people must remain the guiding principle of leadership.
This training marks a fresh beginning in the way we run our administration. Therefore, a high level of discipline is expected, and your performance will be measured. Tangible results and excellence will now determine your status in the administration.
Secretary to the state government, Umar Musa Ikilo Esquire, explained that the philosophy behind the retreat is encapsulated in the slogan, Edo is building Edo, emphasizing that the state's transformation must be driven by Edo people. He also presented Project Shine, the official framework and strategic blueprint for Edo State's transformation. Head of Service Dr. Anthony Okumbowa expressed optimism that the retreat would strengthen leadership capacity and significantly improve service delivery across the state.
The right law in place, the right program in place, and then the project. So this cuts across all sectors of the Shine agenda. If you go to infrastructure, we find it there. Before the flyover came on board, there was a plan and there was a framework.
Participants at the retreat include commissioners, special advisors, permanent secretaries, and heads of ministries, departments, and agencies. The retreat marks a fresh beginning in the administration of Edo State with renewed emphasis on discipline, accountability, and performance monitoring. Kingsley Uchebu, ITV News.
Also in the week, we reported that the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, expressed confidence in the newly inaugurated closed-circuit television surveillance center on Ted Milan Bridge, saying it will help reduce crime and criminality in the area. Mr. Egbetokun, during an on-the-spot assessment of the newly installed infrastructure by the Federal Ministry of Works, said the installation of CCTV center forms part of the ongoing efforts to deploy technology-driven policy and strengthening the security architecture of the command. Now moving on, the 37th monthly prayer of ITV and radio held during week under review would advise to staff to remain dedicated and committed in their service. The guest preacher and senior pastor of Glorious Faith Church, Benin City, Reverend Mike Aluya, spoke on the topic, creating your identity.
The message delivered by Reverend Mike Aluya emphasized on the power of an individual to create own identity. He said the identity of a person determines the perception of people about that individual, and advised the staff of ITV and radio on the importance of a positive identity.
The identity that you create now will not only speak for you when you are alive, it will continue speaking for you when you are dying.
Earlier in his speech, the Managing Director of Independent Television and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, urged commitment on the part of staff as, according to him, ITV and radio is repositioning for greater service delivery. Engineer Obaseki also appreciated some staff of the station who made meaningful contributions to the building of the new St. Gabriel Hall, venue of the prayer meeting, which will soon be inaugurated.
Just the way we prayed and contributed to making this hall a reality, let's pray the academy happen. Where we will now have an ITV academy, South people, other agencies around here will come here to learn.
Some Bible readings were taken by the Assistant General Manager, News and Current Affairs, Mr. Egosa Agbolaho. The preacher, Reverend Mike Aluya, offered prayers for management and staff, as well as for the progress of the station. In a vote of thanks, the Executive Director of Finance and Administration, Lady Selrina Ojomo said it was pertinent to always commend the Chairman Emeritus for his foresight in establishing ITV and radio.
Somebody gave us a platform, somebody also brought this vision to the Chairman and founder of ITV. We always remain grateful.
From Benin, Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
And from ITV Abuja, we reported last week that the staff of the station have been urged to sustain teamwork, discipline, and total commitment in the discharge of their duties. The Managing Director of Independent Television and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, made the call on Saturday last week during the station's end-of-year party and award night held in Abuja. The well-attended event, which brought together staff and management, was a celebration of excellence, hard work, and dedication, with awards presented to deserving members of the organization.
These were staff of Independent Television and Radio on Saturday night at the 2025 end-of-year party and awards ceremony held in Abuja. The event was organized to reinforce the values of hard work, celebrate excellence, reward dedication and commitment, as well as provide an avenue for relaxation and bonding. The Managing Director of ITV and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, alongside his wife, Mrs. Ruth Obaseki, the Acting General Manager, Mr. Stephen Ojo, Manager News and Current Affairs, Mr. Ikaru Atta, and other members of the management team were present at the occasion. Before the awards presentation, Engineer Elvis Obaseki highlighted the significance of the awards night, stressing the need for staff to uphold team spirit, discipline, and dedication to duty in order to move the organization forward.
Please, my message to you this evening, bring dedication on the platform. Come with a lot of commitment. Come with loyalty to the brand and loyalty to ITV. I don't want you to be loyal to me. If you are loyal to the company and I am loyal to the company, we'll get the best for the company. If we bring all this on board, ITV will be where we all dream for it to be.
In their separate remarks, the Acting General Manager, Mr. Stephen Ojo, the NUG Chairperson, Comrade Grace Ike, and the Assistant General Manager Radio, Mr. Ene Okon, commended the initiative, describing it as a morale-boosting platform that promotes unity and excellence among staff.
We are holding this second edition of our end-of-year party and award night. It's not a time for speech-making. Tonight we are going to unwind. Please, let's feel free and make this night a memorable one.
I do not play with award. So if you're recognized for something, please do not play with it.
For the awardees, the reward for hard work is more work. So we expect to see more from you.
The highlight of the night was the presentation of awards to outstanding staff, with Tolu Lokpe Ogutmei of the Programs Department emerging as the highest awardee, carting home 3 awards, including the overall Best Staff Award.
ITV Staff of the Year. Our Staff of the Year 2025. Tolu Lokpe. But between Karo and Tolu, they were the 2 persons at the forefront. But Tolu won.
The ITV Staff Awards night also provided an opportunity for relaxation as staff and management engaged in dancing, eating, drinking, and other forms of entertainment. In Abuja, Ogani Victor, ITV News.
In case you're just joining us, the program is News Review. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, the program News Review will continue. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much for staying tuned to the program News Review. Now moving on, Edo State Police Command says it arrested 6 suspected members of the Eye confraternity, including an alleged kidnapping during an intelligence-led operation in Benin City. The command recorded notable operational successes across the Benin City metropolis within the past week, following sustained intelligence-led patrols, rapid response to distress calls, and proactive crime-fighting strategies under the leadership of the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Monday Agbonika.
According to a statement by the Command Public Relations Officer, ASP Enoy Koyedem, crack officials of the Intelligence Rapid Response Team, acting on actionable intelligence on court-related activities, stormed Ibuje Hotel in the Eyan axis of Benin City on January 27, 2026. The Police Public Relations Officer in a statement added that the operation led to the arrest of the alleged kingpin Usifo Omojale alongside 5 other suspects. The command says the suspects confessed to being members of the Aye confraternity and are allegedly linked to kidnapping, extortion, and other violent crimes terrorizing residents. They will be charged to court as investigations continue to dismantle the criminal network. Meanwhile, operatives of the Eagle Crack Unit on 25th January 2026 arrested a 41-year-old suspect, Emmanuel Omorudion, after responding to reports of gunshots along Erediowa Street off Sapele Road. A double-barrel gun and a live cartridge were recovered from him. In a related development, operatives of the Ugbo Division on 23rd January 2026, in collaboration with the Edo State Security Network, foiled an armed robbery at Owadia Street off Ogunwenyi community, leading to the arrest of 2 suspects with weapons and stolen items recovered. The Commissioner of Police, Mr. Monday Agbonika, reassured residents of the command's commitment to intelligence-driven policing, adding that routine patrols will be sustained to maintain safety of lives and property across Edo State. From Benin, Jola Diojo, ITV News.
Troops of the 4th Brigade Nigerian Army, John Wick Review arrested 13 suspected kidnappers and drug peddlers in Edo North Senatorial District during a clearance operation codenamed Operation Igbo Down 1. The operation, carried out in collaboration with the Nigerian Air Force, Edo State Police Command, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Edo State Security Corps, targeted suspected criminal hideouts in Osara community, Esako West local government area, as well as Auchi and Okwila communities.
According to a statement by the Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, Captain Kennedy Anyawu, the joint operation conducted on 4th of February 2026 led to the arrest of 8 suspects. They include 25-year-old Jamilu Mohammed, 33-year-old Kasim Abu, 31-year-old Brahimo Afiz, 36-year-old Suleiman Amiso, 25-year-old Lawan Umaru, 24-year-old Bawa Awal, 40-year-old Musa Umaru, and 50-year-old Amodu Atai. Items recovered includes an English-made pump-action gun, a locally fabricated pistol, 4 live cartridges, cutlasses, a POS machine, a Nikon camera, mobile phones, codeine syrup, Indian hemp, whaling scales, other illicit substances, and the sum of 87,550 naira in cash. In a related forest clearance operation at Aviele, 5 additional suspects, namely 37-year-old Isiaka Abubakar, 25-year-old Muhammad Abubakar, 24-year-old Yusuf Abubakar, 20-year-old Mohammed Samu, and 30-year-old Isiaka Ibrahim were apprehended. Recovered items also include 2 motorcycles, 2 mobile phones, and a power bank. All suspects and recovered items have been handed over to the Edo State Police Command for further investigation and prosecution. Commander of the 4th Brigade, Brigadier General Ahmed Balogun, commended the effective collaboration among the security agencies and warned that Edo State will no longer be a safe haven for kidnappers, terrorists, or other criminal elements. He reaffirmed the brigade's commitment to protecting lives and property. Jola Diojo, ITV News.
In the same vein, we reported that 8 suspected kidnappers and 5 pipeline vendors were arrested by Edo State Police Command during coordinated security operations in parts of East and West and Owa West local government areas of Edo State. The operations, which also led to the rescue of kidnapped victims, followed actionable intelligence, swift response, and coordinated bush combing exercise ordered by the Commissioner of Police, CP Monday Agbonika. The move is aimed at dismantling criminal networks and denying criminals safe haven.
According to the police, operatives of the Ekpoma Division on January 26, 2026, arrested 5 suspects in connection with the vandalism of a Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited NNPC pipeline at Uhiele Community, Ekpoma. An excavator allegedly used to damage the pipeline was recovered, while efforts are ongoing to apprehend other suspects who escaped from the scene and recover the vandalized pipes. In another operation, a coordinated bushcombing exercise carried out on January 28, 2026, across Idoha and Ewu Forest led to the arrest of 8 suspected kidnappers. Police say investigations are ongoing to uncover other members of the syndicate, as 3 tents believed to be kidnappers' camps were discovered. 5 mobile phones suspected to belong to the kidnapped victims were also recovered. Meanwhile, on January 29, 2026, a joint security team rescued a farmer and his 2 wives who were abducted from their farm at Egoro Amende Community, Ekpoma. The victims were rescued unhurt after intensive search operations across several forest locations in Asan West and Owan West local government areas, as the kidnappers reportedly fled on citing security operatives. The Edo State Police Command has reiterated its commitment to safeguarding lives, protecting critical infrastructure, and sustaining intelligence-driven operations across the state. Residents have also been urged to continue providing timely and credible information to support proactive policing. From Benin, Jola Diojo, ITV News.
From Delta State reporter John Wikonda Review that in continuation of efforts to protect Nigerian maritime waterways, in line with the directives of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral E.D. Abbas, the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Delta, new commander, Commodore Tashu Muhammad, assumed command of a unit with a mandate to sustain the fight against illegal activities such as oil theft and to safeguard the integrity of the nation's maritime domain.
At a brief handing over ceremony held at the headquarters of the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Delta in Warri, the new commander, Commodore Shehu Tashu Muhammad, said he will sustain the mandate given by the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral E.D. Abbas, to protect the maritime waterways from all forms of illegal activities, particularly oil theft. Commodore Tashu Muhammad added that he will continue from where his predecessor stopped and warned criminals operating within the maritime domain to desist from all acts of crime and criminality.
The CNS directive has not changed. The national objective has not changed. So I'm here to improve on what my predecessor has done, bring in new tactics, new ways of achieving things. Where I have discussed with him, he has given me some advice. He has told me the things he has done, and then from our discussion, we have charted a better way to achieve the set objectives. There are other institutions, organizations that are also given some responsibilities of securing our national assets.
Commodore Tashu Muhammad took over command from Commodore Abdulaziz Subir, who served the command for 1 year. The change of guard is a routine operational procedure of the Nigerian Navy. From Warri, Benga Ahmed, ITV News.
With that report, we call it a wrap on today's edition of the program News Review. Do not forget to keep a day to test next week Sunday. We shall be bringing you the program News Review again. I am Deborah Iviugbe for now. See you next week. Do have a wonderful week ahead. Bye for now.
This is Anegbete community situated in Isako Central Local Government Area of Edo State. It is an agrarian community with united people that promotes unity and oneness for peaceful coexistence. The inhabitants of the community migrated from Benin, the cradle of black civilization, a kingdom where king is truly king. The ancestors of Anegbete saw that age was the main determinant of leadership in the rural setting, and the eldest man in the settlement was regarded as the leader who presided over meetings, and his authority is held in high esteem. To further strengthen this unique system of leadership, age group evolved in Anegbete. In Anegbete, age group is categorized into two, that is, the common and the noble. Anegbete is rich in cultural heritage, as the community at noon saw the commitment of the festival with the first set roll out in beauty colors to showcase their might and strength, indicating their feet and ready for the responsibilities behold on them. The streets in the community with a feed up of young men and women adorned with the festival. Later, the royal family takes the stage as their children fight out royally and work in the community to showcase their might and fitness.
Hello and welcome to WIC, Women in Conversation. This is where women sit together to discuss things that are happening amongst us, especially the women. Do we talk about men? Yes, we do sometimes, when it is very, very necessary, especially when we're talking about marriage, talking about DNA and all that. But this is a room for women where we discuss, where we'll laugh, where we'll chit-chat, as you might call it. Anyway, it's a new episode, new production, and I am saying Happy New Year to you viewers. It's been a while, so we say Happy New Year and thank God we made it to 2026. Anyways, like as usual, I don't do this alone. I have my pretty women, my guests, always here to analyze some of the topics that we'll be discussing today. And on my right, I have Princess Edith Madejemo, who is a household name. She is the CEO Golden Touch Collection. Edith.
Good morning, Happy New Year, and thanks for having me.
Happy New Year, and welcome as usual. And to my left, we have Ayo. The thing about Ayo, let me talk about Ayo before introducing her. I have been pursuing Ayo to join us on WIC because she has a lot to talk about. She has a lot to educate us on. But of course, Ayo is a very busy person. Thank God she made it through to us today. She is Ayo Ali Balogun. Ayo Ali Balogun is a management consultant. Ayo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You also pretty. I told you behind the camera, I like your earrings, so I'm going to take it. Anyway, thank you for joining us again. And let's just go straight to today's discussion. Ladies, it's been a problem, mothers, especially these young mothers these days, they shy away from discussing the adult talks with their daughter. And so the question is, when is the right time to start the discussion with your daughter on adult talks? I know you understand what I mean when I say adult talks. Princess, let me start with you.
Oh. I'm actually on that table right now.
Wow.
And at times it gives me goosebumps when I'm talking about it. But the way do we have to talk about it? As an intentional parent, you just have to be open to some extent. I don't think there is a perfect time for it, in as much as you watch your child or your girl child growing from 7 years, you can start at least educating her about herself. Then thereafter, from 10 years, I think you can start introducing some talk to her. Especially, I have this topic I introduced to myself and my daughter, mom and daughter night. We used to do it every Friday or Saturday night. At times, once or twice in a month, we do it. And that is the time we talk.
How old is your daughter, if I might ask?
She's almost 10. She's 9, going to 10. So we have mom and daughter nights, and at times, these nights are the nights we talk. At times, she will jot some things down about me that she wants to tell me. Or about me, because I used to tell her, what do I do that you don't like? We parents, we can be somehow at times. So, and she will put it down. She's looking forward to that mother and daughter night that she'll tell mommy, you used to do this and I don't like it. It makes me sad. As those points that she pointed out to me that makes her sad, I have to look into it. At times give her excuse. Then that is the time I have to talk to her about this adult talk. It's never too late when you start from 8, because you don't know where they go. You can't be with them all through. They go to church, they go to children party, you may be there. They go to school, you may be there with them at that children party, but you won't be playing with them. Maybe you just sit at the corner where the parents sit, and they will mingle with their friends. They go to school. You don't know what the other parents are teaching their children. And some of these things come from school. Do you understand? So I would say from 8 years, because from 8 years, an 8-year-old girl child should understand what you are talking about. We'll be able to get the message. You understand? So I would say from 8 years, you start telling them their body and how to associate with the opposite sex.
Okay. Thank you, Princess. Now, Princess had said from 8 years. But some mothers will tell you, 8 years child, is a baby. I'm still, bathing for her and all that. I don't want to start talking to her about the adult talk at 8 years. Do you agree with her, or what exact time do you think is the right time for one to start discussing adult talk with the children. Let me remind you that some children, like you said, at 8 years, are fully blown with everything. Everything, when I mean everything, I have seen a lot of them. So when do you think is the right time to start talking?
So personally, I think much earlier.
Okay. Earlier than 7?
Earlier than 7. And I must mention this. I don't know if you remember this lady, Auntie Jessica Obioma. She used to be there. And she told me many years ago and said, have you educated your daughter on her body and private? My daughter was 4 years at that time.
Wow.
I thought, strange. She said, no.
She's a child, because you still have some children wearing Pampers at 4.
Right. So I remember visiting her and she said, no, you tell her here, if anybody touch you, no. Because abuse, someone who, who is looking for a prey would not leave children under 8. As long as a child begins to, the cognitive, develops and the child can assimilate, you understand, you begin to, in the language that the child would understand, you get. Even when they're playing, nobody touch you here, don't, like that. Break it beat by beat. You'd be surprised that by age 8, like you said, a lot of children, I know when I was much younger, a girl had started her monthly period at the age of 8.
Wow.
So you can imagine such a girl. Of course, she has womanly body and everything. Now, what do you think would happen if that child hadn't been well groomed?
Okay, that's it.
You understand? Now you also have some children are very adventurous. They're curious. There's so many things online today that they see and they want to explore. You see young children, I query a lot of the Nigerian movies where, they're very explicit when it comes to trying to describe adult scenes. And I think the Census Board should look into that. I think it's just too much for me. So I think the earlier, as soon as a child can recognize and assimilate, 8, 2, 3, nobody touch you here, okay? Anybody touch you there, you tell mommy. Because a predator starts to groom a child. I say, if you tell your mommy, I'll beat you. If I tell your mommy, I kill you, I'll kill your mommy. You understand? So you want to start building the confidence of that child as early as possible. And I love what you do, Princess, with your daughter, the mother and daughter. I wish, I had
talk.
The mom, yes. I wish I knew that when my child was that age. But I think that's brilliant. And I'm going to propagate it. It's brilliant. And I love the fact that you are encouraging her to pen down her thoughts about your actions.
You, yeah.
I remember once my daughter said to me, I was like, tell me, and she was like, no, I don't want to tell you, because if I tell you now, when you're angry, you say it.
Oh shit. I know how you feel that.
I know.
And it never left me. It never left me.
Okay, so let's come to that. What did you think you did wrong that made her to, get to that extent of saying, if I tell you this, the day you're angry, you bring it up to use it against me. Where did you go wrong in this?
So, with parenthood, nobody has a manual. So you come up, and then life has a way of, forming you. And you, the kind of person you are, determines. So this is me, who is a go-getter. And then my daughter, at that time, was a very quiet introvert. You could hardly hear her. So, I become very exasperated. I told her.
Because you're not acting like me.
Like me.
Why are you this quiet?
And guess what?
Yes, firebrand now.
Firebrand.
She was just forming. She was just forming.
No, that's language. Forming. No, I don't think she was forming. She was watching you.
Yeah, no. So that was her forming stage. Molding. Yes, was molding. That's what I mean by that.
Yes.
See, it comes in. Sorry, darling.
Yes.
It comes in different way. Like your daughter said, if I tell you what you do now, if I tell you what's happening, you will use it against me.
Yeah.
I just imagine how you feel. It has happened to me actually. My own was smacking. So like you did something, I'll smack you. So there was something happened in school and she didn't tell me. I get to know, I think the third day or the other day. And I queried her. She said, I said, you told me everything. Because I made it a point of duty that when I come to pick her, right from the car, we're already discussing.
How did the day go?
Even if I'm on call, once I drop that call, start telling me, start talking. Don't wait for me to ask you. We started it when she was a little. So start telling me what, the things I couldn't enjoy when I was growing. I want my daughter to enjoy it. I learned, I enroll in all these different platforms, just to learn how to be a better mother, a better parent. I do. So I ask, I say, once I drop my phone, anything you think you should tell me, start talking. Don't wait for me anymore to start asking you. So I got to know 3 days after, and I asked her, why didn't you tell me? She was mute. For some time, I was like, am I talking to you? She said, yes. Did you hear what I said? She said, yes. I said, why didn't you tell me? And she said, if I tell you, you will smack me. You know, that's just as you said, it got to my brain like, so this girl can keep secret from me because I will smack her.
So how did you correct that?
Oh, so whenever she tells me things that would have made me smack her, I will not smack her. I will just hold on and correct her. That part, you know, I would have beat you. But I don't want to beat you so you can keep telling me.
Okay.
Are you getting me? So because of, after that scenario, such a thing never happened.
Ayo, I have had a young lady who came to meet me and said to me, I like the relationship you have with your daughter. I have just one daughter. I have the relationship you have with your daughter, but I do not have that relationship with my daughter. My daughter was actually very grown at the time she was talking to me about it, but her daughter was about 7 or 9, so she doesn't have that relationship that her daughter prefers to go talk to her dad. And then most times when her daughter wants to use her undies or, you know, zipper, she goes meet her dad. Daddy, do my zipper for me. Where do you think that mother went wrong for the daughter to have stayed away from her and rather talk with the father?
All right, so a lot of women, you know, query, oh, my children prefer the father, or that this.
I don't say anything wrong
with that. And I think, you know, the father also has a right to enjoy special bond
with the
daughter and with the son. So, you know, we can't tell, even as adults, we don't choose who to love or who we fall in love with romantically. And now when it comes to bonding, you know, there's this special thing that it just happens. I don't think your mother went wrong, and I don't think she should beat herself over it. She should leverage on the father and daughter relationship to get, you know, her own space, which is, you know, complements that relationship, encourage the relationship, and the girl will begin to trust her enough to say, oh, mommy is chilled with this, and bring her in. I want to have her as the third man in that relationship instead of trying to, you know, form her own and by breaking it. I don't think so. I think the father has a right to have a special bond with his daughter, and I don't think the mother went wrong. And she should just leverage on the special father and daughter relationship, which I love, you know, and promote it, encourage them, and they would naturally drag her along. I think.
Fantastic. They will naturally drag. I just hope she's listening, because she was very worried. She came and then she was complaining, my daughter doesn't have this bond you have with your daughter. But I built that bond with my daughter.
It's not a one-day thing.
It wasn't a one-day thing. Absolutely. Just like she said, I started this mother-daughter talk. I made her to know that she has to tell me everything. She's free to discuss anything with me. And then we became very close, you know. In fact, don't worry. You see the two of us, you think we're friends. Yeah, she's very grown now. Anyway, let's go on a short break. We will be right back to continue this discussion. It's WIC. Welcome back. It's WIC, Women in Conversation, and we're still here. I still have Edith in the house, and then Ayo Alibalogun is still here. We were talking about the right time to discuss adult issues with your girl child. But anyway, everybody here has said their own how to handle it and how to go about it. I just hope you viewers out there listened and, learned from these two women here. So we're going to be moving on, still on the girl child. Yes, a lot of people will say, is a boy child not a child? The boy child is also molested, okay? It's not just the girl child, but it is very common with the girl child. We have seen very recently where we see 11-year-old girls being pregnant. We see the pictures and videos everywhere, and it's beginning to become a thing of concern, so that is why I chose for us to discuss this today. A boy child is also very, very molested, just like a female child. But let's move on to the girl child. Still on the girl child, dating. When is the right time for a girl child to start dating?
Right, sorry. So before I go into that, permit me, I'm also very passionate about the boy child. The boy child, any child, male or female, is vulnerable.
Very, very.
And must be educated. You have, boys child sodomized by older caregivers or people around, or also explored to adults things by the older female caregiver.
True.
So it is important, whether you have a girl child or boy child, to educate them on how to keep their private. So back on track.
Thank you for that. So back on track. When do you think is the right time for a girl child to start dating? We are concentrating on the girl child today.
Right.
We could bring in the boy child later on, but for the girl child, when is the right time for a girl child to start dating? Romantically.
Now, so when you say dating, I found that in recent times that, so I think our generation would say dating is, immediately you're kissing, you're going to bed and all of that. But apparently, when you say dating, it's just you're going out for drinks, you're going out for movies. Then from the dating stage, you have the talking stage, and then the define. So there are different stages according to the millennials and the Gen Zs. So now, for the girl child, any child, especially female, who is smart enough to get into the adult space, that is the university, it's open to and susceptible to things like that. Now, you can imagine a girl child, so this child goes to university at the age of 16 or 17. I think there was a law, I don't know if they reversed it now, that the girl, you can't get into university in Nigeria until you're 7 age.
Yeah, that law just started last year, sometimes last year.
3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Was it 2 or 3 years ago?
Yes, I think yes, maybe to 2024 or early 2025. So, but if a girl child is old enough to get into university, smart enough to get into university, and finds a guy that she finds, to be honest, all of us at some point when we were in secondary school had crush on one person or the other.
Sure.
But in the university, you can encourage, because most, and from experience, I'll tell you that it's actually better for them to begin to have an open mind about having, healthy relationship, not amorous relationship with opposite sex, not that early. So when we say dating, are we talking about just going on, my friend is visiting me and the works? I think 16, as long as you're in the university, I'm cool with that. But even if you're in the secondary school and they do the dating, but they won't call it dating, they call it hangout. So we need to define clearly what we mean by dating.
And that is why I said dating romantically, not the hangouts. It's not even hangouts. We hear children say, I'm going for a sleepover in my friend's house. Yes, a sleepover. So we're going to be touching the sleepover thing, because I have a friend that has a particular issue about her daughter going for a sleepover. She also came to report that case to me. But let's go to you, Edith. Let's talk about the dating before we go to the sleepover.
To me, I won't say there's a particular age frame for dating. But like she rightly said, when a girl child is smart enough to be in the university, I think she's open for anything that comes to dating. because in the university you have missed people, you have people, or you have people that you crush on, that crush on you, and I think at that stage you can express yourself, and another guy also is bold enough to express themselves, unlike when they were in the secondary school. At this stage they are very expressional, and you are open for that. Then you should prepare your child, your daughter, ahead of this stage. Although they should also prepare their mind ahead of it, that okay, now you, my daughter, you are going to the university. Mind you, are going to come across Peter, you're going to come across some men that will admire you. Admiring you doesn't mean they want to take you to bed. You can associate, you can date anybody, but not the romantic part of it. You understand?
Yes.
Not going to bed. Then while dating, communication, like you said, stage by stage, communication, going out for lunch, for dinner, at times you party. It's an agreement. From the beginning of that dating, you spell out what you want. You understand? We want to just be friends. I love you and I like you. Let's be friends until I get to 20.
Don't you think that word love is heavy for just being friends? I mean,
No. It can't be heavy. You can love somebody and still respect that person's opinion.
No, but that's actually what love is. Love is respect.
So I love you and I want to date you. You can accept to date the person. I'm not going to bed. I'm not romantically entangled.
And that's where...
Are you getting it? Then you can be there for each other. You can have lunch together. You can go to a party together. And you can still remain clean. Until the time that appointed time that you said, okay, you can just reach an agreement like, I want to be 20. I want to get to 21. I want to do it when I'm a graduate.
Okay. We'll
come
to that. Yes, let's go to you.
It brings us back to those adult education you've been giving your child.
Thank you.
So it's cumulative. Now you see how successful you can measure your performance by how your girl child responds to all of this. Now she has a freedom. Has she all of a sudden forgotten all the education you have given her over the years? And that is where you also don't sit back or rest on your oars as a mother. You still go on, Let the girl child be open to, exploring.
But you know that in this Gen Z age, they are actually very different, okay? Back when they get to school, all the children are coming from different homes, different upbringings, different background. What you told your daughter is not what I probably would have told my daughter. Do you know there's some parents, there's some mothers who would say, if you meet a senator, that will spoil you. Go ahead to do that.
Oh, you have parents that can encourage their children to do all sorts.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So how do you maintain that that's good upbringing, that's good conversation you have had with your daughter before going to the uni? How do you continue to maintain that so she doesn't get to be lured by a child coming from a different background?
Constant talking. I would say, like she said, you don't relax. Like you've done your part, and the rest is there, left for her to decide. You still keep talking. Keep still talking, and once in a while, talk to her, call her. You can bump into her. I like to do that once in a while. Just go to school unannounced, and you know where your child is. Like all the teaching all along, she has to put them to practice. If you have been teaching her from the age of 9, 10, and now she's free. There are some children that are free. When they see freedom, it looks as if you'll be caging them. They will just go haywire. But there are some children, even when they have that freedom, they will still be able to maintain that, character that they brought from the house. Like, okay, this is what my mom said I shouldn't do. I shouldn't be found in this company. I shouldn't be found in this company. But mind you, evil communication corrupts good manners. It does happen. It does.
So that's what I'm saying.
Kids,
how do you that?
Even when you divvy them all the home training, all the training that you think you should give your child or your daughter, when they go out there, they do something else. Some children are actually two-faced. I'm sorry to say. Some children are two-faced. They come home, they are very innocent. They are very innocent. They are very decent. They are very calm and reserved. If you see them out there, if you have a picture of how your daughter behaved out there, you will be able to.
Let's take it from Edith saying some children are two-faced. How do you identify a child that is two-faced?
So, you know, by and large, all of these things, the adult talks you have with your child, you know, it's not just the adult talk you have with your child. You have other talks too. What is your value as a woman? Are you able to communicate your value as a woman to your husband, to your daughter, to your son? What is the value as a family? These are the things that you have to build over time. This family should be known to be a family of peace and integrity, accountability. It's not a function of somebody knocks and, who is that? Tell them that I'm not in the house. Tell them I'm not in the house. It's the landlord has come to Your child will learn not just by what you say, but by what you do. So when they now have the freedom, because over the years you have exemplified true leadership, the type of leadership that you would want to see in your child. Parents get asked, would you want your child to act the way you have acted in certain situations?
Oh, okay.
They keep mute.
They keep mute. So it bothers on values.
Okay. We are going to be rounding off this episode. Just 1 minute, one word, not 1 minute, one word to mothers out there.
Train up a child in a way that he will grow. That when he grows, he will not depart from it.
Ayo.
As a mother, and as a caregiver, love. And be free to express love. Let I love you not be a once in a while thing. You may not have the opportunity tomorrow to say I love you.
Wow. We've come to the end of this episode. Actually, Edith said train up a child properly. Let me, brief it there. And Ayo says love. Learn how to love and let the love not be a one-day thing. Continuously. That's what you want there. Keep telling your daughter, I love you. Even your boy child, I love you at every minute. Anyway, it's been an amazing time out with these women. Thank you so much, Edith, for coming. And thank you, Ayo, for being here today. And it is a wrap here from us here on WIC. We'll see you next time.
This is Ahwa Game, a popular game in Africa played by our ancestors to entertain themselves after each day of farming.